Okay, we had a question on the group about a red dot on an Annie Bright's pattern, Dragons Breath. I didn't have that, but I did go up and I purchased the pattern just to do some experimenting and see what was going on with that. Here I have, this is the original pattern right there, Dragon's Breath, border to border, QLI. That's the pattern I got from Annie Bright. Then I exported it to CSQ. But right now I'm going to get this pattern and bring it into Creative Studio. Select it. Then I'm going to go and do a folder that I put in, made a special folder just so that I could put in the patterns. Okay, here's my folder on the thumb drive, Dragons Breath B2B Experiment. I'm going to open that folder and I'm going to get all of these. Here's the CSQ that I made, the same one that's in the Annie Bright folder. Here's a DXF. I exported it to DXF. And here's a QLI. Now, this is not the same QLI that I received from Annie Bright. This is a QLI that was made when I opened the DXF file that I exported. So I'm going to select all three of these patterns and import them into Creative Studio. I'm finished with all that. Okay, so here's what all we have. Here, if I click on this pattern and I go here and look at that, this just says it's a Dragon Breath B2B and doesn't give you any information there. What I did with all of this is the B2B pattern that I got from Annie Bright. Now I'm going to put this on the screen. I think I'm correct here. Okay, there that pattern is. This is the one I got from Annie Bright. Okay, I'll bring it down here. See, it's got the red dot. I'll go and get this one. I'll bring it on the screen. It does not have a red dot. Go and get this one. Okay, it does not have the red dot. Then the last one. And none of these have the red dot. So what I did was, when I exported it to CSQ, I experimented with it. I put 2 repeats on the screen and went to quilt and stitched them, and it stitched both repeats, no tie-offs in between. No tie-off at the end of the first repeat. And then I exported it to DXF. And when I opened the DXF, Creative Studio made a QLI. And I also stitched that. It did not tie off after the first repeat. It just stitched right on through. Stitched 2 repeats with the no tie off in between. So I don't know what happened when that person removed the red dot or whatever. I'll show you what I did whenever I removed the red dot. I'm going to go down and get the original pattern and put it on the screen. Okay, it has the red dot. So what I selected the pattern and I went down to Options. I'm in Creative Studio 6. Options, I clicked Remove Designer Nodes, and I right-clicked on it again, and I don't know if this was necessary or not, and I removed no-shows. Now I don't have a red dot on this. Then I saved it as a CSQ, and I did the same thing and saved it as a DXF. Okay, that is all well and good, and it stitched right on through without any hesitation. So here I'm going to delete this. I'm also going to change the size of this to 5 inches, okay, so that I can put this on the screen. Now if I select repeat patterns, okay, you can see the size of the pattern now, and if I tell it I want 2 rows, 2 repeats, 2 rows, and I click OK. Now it's going to put this on there. Now all of the repeats are going to have a red dot, and I guarantee you when it stitches first repeat, it will tie off, and then you hit OK, it'll stitch the next repeat, it will tie off, and it will just continue to do that. So here's one thing you can do also. You can select all of the repeats, and you can go down to Options, Remove Designer Nodes, and again I selected it. I did Options, I removed the no-shows. I don't know if that was necessary or not, but I did. Now I can guarantee you that this will stitch the first repeat and go right into the second repeat, and it will not tie off. So what am I going to do here? I'm going to select all of these, or I can just select one, and now I'm going to do it this way. I'm just going to move these, grab these, move these. I should have moved my machine in the first place, but I didn't. I'm going to move them up there like that, because that's where my needle is sitting. Okay. I'm going to click on Quilt. I can do it this way or do it with a keypad. Click on Quilt. And I may need to make sure that my thread break is off. Okay. I'll hit Quilt. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. I didn't toggle these. It's going to go and get those. Okay. Got to remember all this stuff. As sewn. Now I'll hit Quilt again. The machine is saying, I wish you'd make up your mind. Okay, it took stitch. I'll click OK. So it's doing a tile stitch, but I don't have any thread in. Have the thread break turned off, and it's stitching the first repeat. So I'm going to pause my recording for just a minute here while it's doing the stitching. Okay, it's getting pretty close to the end of this repeat. It's coming right there. It'll come to this, to the next, and it went right on into the second repeat. No hesitation, no tie-off. I know that this should work because I have done this many, many times. So that gives you an idea. Okay, again, this is the original pattern that I downloaded from Annie Bright. It has that red dot. Select the pattern. Right-click. Go to Options. Remove Designer Nodes. And I also remove no-shows. Like I said, I don't know if that was necessary, but I did it. Now you can see this does not have a red dot. Okay, I put this on the screen and I just selected it. I removed the designer nodes. I copied it. I pasted it over here, connected the start and end right there. Then I tested to see if it was going to stitch out without tying off, and it did do that. I'll hit quilt, hit OK, and it's doing a tie-off stitch. Now I'll pause this and come back when it gets over here close to this line where it goes into connecting to the second repeat. Okay, I turned back on the recording so we can see it's going to go right that way into the second repeat, and it didn't stop and tie off, it just going on. So that tells me that that works.